Let's talk about the dark side of the law of assumption. And I want to talk specifically about unconsciousness and not being able to consciously be aware of the law of assumption and how it operates in your life. You see, once you become aware of the law of assumption, once you become aware of how the mind works, how reality works in the fundamentals, life becomes very empowering because all of a sudden you realize that you have the power to change fate, to change destiny, to create what you want. But when you are unconscious, or when you are aware but you're not using the right tools, or you're not disciplined enough, or you're not making any effort to really be a doer, to really apply those concepts until they really become fundamentally part of who you are, it's even harder because on one hand, you know that you create your reality, but on the second hand, you keep on creating shitty situations that affects you negatively. And so it can be very frustrating because you feel like, where the fuck is my manifestation? I should be succeeding, I should be making it, I'm reading all those things, I'm watching all those videos, but I'm not seeing those big breakthroughs, but I'm not seeing those big shifts. So it can rapidly become a source of anxiety, a source of stress, a source of even more, feeling like unhappy, frustrated, overwhelmed, simply because you know how it works, but it's not really working for you. Or you see little things, but you're not seeing what you really, really want. And one of the reasons why is because it's very easy to watch videos. It's very easy to read books. It's very easy to binge on podcasts and people like me making videos like this, but it's very different story to really live by those principles every day, throughout the day, especially when things get hard, especially when you're having a bad day, especially when you feel anxious, especially when things are happening in your 3D reality, especially in those moments when you have to show up in a different way, be another person, think greater, believe more in your imagination than in what you see around you. In those moments that shape your future, it is where most people don't do it. You see, we all want instant gratification, right? I'm gonna affirm a little bit, do my little things, and I want it now. But life is a process of evolution, and you're here to evolve, to grow, and we are all on our own journeys. So you're here to learn something. And when you see certain things appearing again and again and again, it's simply because you are not changed the pattern in your own consciousness. So you see it happening again and again and again, maybe growing in intensity until you kind of graduate from that lesson, or you graduate from letting go of that pattern, or you graduate into seeing yourself in a different way. So fundamentally, the dark side of the law of assumption or any form of metaphysical teaching is really not believing, not applying, not living by those tools. And there's something else that comes in the language we use, especially to talk about ourselves, to talk about the future, to talk about the world, and to talk about people. What we hear often, especially in the media, in the social media, in the noise around us, is how negative the future is going to be. At the moment, there's a lot of talk about global warming, and there's the economy, and there's recession, and there's all those big problems, right, that are being shown and how fucked up everything is. And all that noise gets a lot of attention, gets a lot of energy. It's everywhere. Even if you're not paying attention, even if you're not watching the news, people talk about it all the time. You see, what this creates fundamentally is a picture for you of how the world is, how bad things are. And that perception of reality, even though you're not buying into it, if you simply be exposed to it unconsciously, it will shape your perspective of the world. It will shape your perspective about yourself. It will shape your perspective of what is happening. So the point I'm trying to make here is that we are very unaware of the power of the words and the power of the story we tell to ourselves and to the others and the stories we receive. See, those stories define us. They define us as a civilization, as a society, and as individuals. And this is the essence of the law of assumption. And you may be like, how is that all relevant? Because all of our societal beliefs are all nothing more but assumption. History is nothing more than a big assumption. And you may be like, well, we got fact, we got science, we got all these things, but a lot of that is garbage. A lot of that has been written by winners. A lot of the history is more like his story. Somebody who wrote or changed the story. The Bible has been changed, rewritten, modified, cut so many times, translated so many times, distorted so many times that it's hard to keep track of what was really real versus what somebody told you is real. So we live in this spectrum of reality that is based on stories. Our whole foundation, our whole life is built on stories. And it's fundamental to understand this, because once you understand that your life and the world is nothing more than a big story that has been shared, that has been told, that has been refined, that has been distorted, that is being distorted by everybody because everybody sees it in its own little way, it empowers you profoundly. Why? Because you understand that you get to write your own story as well. Your history can change simply because you change the way you talk. And once you start talking about your future differently, about yourself differently, about your life, about where you're going differently, I guarantee you, you will start to see a lot of freaking movement in your life, a lot of changes in your life. What I hear a lot about people is that on one hand, they want to manifest and create all those type of things in their life, but subconsciously, they keep on thinking, they keep on telling themselves, they keep on expecting that the future is going to be hard, that maybe they're going to struggle, that there's not enough, that there's competition, that they need to be careful, there's all those fears. And what this does is that it's perpetuating a paradigm of reality that you call your life, your experience. So you see, fundamentally, your life, yourself, really, your own story that brought you where you are today in your life is nothing more than an accumulation of meaning that you made up, beliefs and assumptions that you created over time, that you repeated over time, that you have believed and convinced yourself that it's true over time, that really built the person, the character, the personality that you are today. So your whole idea about yourself is a fabrication of your own imagination. So my invitation for you, really, in understanding the beauty of the law of assumption and to escape the dark side of the law of assumption, is to awaken to the fact that everything is an illusion, but an illusion that is so real because you're so into that. You're so into that reality that that reality is real for yourself, but that reality only exists in the story construct, in the assumption construct that you have created, that you have engaged with your energy, with your attention, with your choice, with your word, are perpetuating that reality. And so if you really want to master this whole game of reality creation and being your own creator in your own life, you got to fundamentally be the script writer, the director, the producer, and the actor of a new person. And once you can do that, and we can truly step into that script and truly believe and truly live by it, I guarantee you it's one of the most life-changing experience you will ever encounter, because as you change your story, your life and your future will change. But you cannot wait to change your story until your reality change. You cannot wait that things change around you for you to change your story, because this is what will lead you to frustration, to anxiety, to feeling like this is not working for me, it's only working for everybody else. This is what will really mess you up. So my invitation for you is really reflect on the stories that you're using, that you're living, to reaffirm who you are, to reaffirm your personality, to reaffirm your life, to reaffirm the conditions that you put around the world and people and money and economy and all of these things, and change those stories that are limiting, that are negative, that are small, and that no longer represent who and what you are, and who and what you want to be, and how you want to live your life. I hope this makes sense, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comment. As always, I will see you in my next video. Be well.